It is time for another episode of the podcast of Still, and today I'm joined by another fantastic cosplayer, Jake, the nice guy. Welcome to the show.
How's it going? How's it going? How is everybody doing today?
First of all, I'm excited. Now, for me, it's early. For you, it's late. We're on
Yes,
opposite sides of the world, but we knew we had to make this conversation work somehow. And I'm
absolutely.
so glad that we did, Jake, because we have got a lot to talk about today. But if you can, sir, if you could share your origin story with the listeners and watchers, please, Jake. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a simple born and raised Californian. I grew up to two parents who were sons and daughters of immigrants from Beirut, Lebanon. I'm Armenian, and I grew up just with a very hardworking background. Essentially, really got taught kindness at a very young age, and have always tried to roll with it. I know no hard hitting questions. I'm just letting. This is just me letting
Oh,
loose. My overall understanding was that I was raised by a man that definitely showed me that no matter what, no matter how much it seems like you have a reason to give up on someone or something, there's always hope. There's always hope to help them in some way.
well, that's not a bad way to start the podcast, Jake. That's for sure, sir. So, yes, we are going to be talking a little bit about you today, about your love for cosplay and Superman and everything in between. So, we're going to dive deep into your loves for cosplay and everything.
I actually brought out a little bit of show and tell if it so happens that way to
Oh, I think so.
um yeah, that way just to illustrate, some visual objects.
I
I don't know
definitely
what's
think
going on
that's
in my
going to
brain
help.
right now.
This is all great stuff. You're doing my job for me. So I love what I see from your positivity online. The fact that you've got so much respect and admiration for these characters that you portray, and you share that with the world in such an energetic and charismatic way. What went through your head when you first wanted to get into cosplay?
I first wanted to get into it because I had a brief moment in my life where I was in the United States Navy, and when I had gotten out, it didn't feel like I did enough because I really didn't do anything, to be brutally honest. And that's why I say brief stint. And when I started, I went back to my same old job I was working before I joined the military, which was mall security. And then an opportunity came up where I was working hospital security, and at hospital security, I actually felt like I was doing something again. And then immediately, that was around the time that COVID-19 hit. And I was working a lot, but with working a lot, I had a lot of free time to get slowly into it. So I hopped on TikTok. I did what everybody was doing at that time and got into it because I had played a fun little, I know you guys have it in the UK, Airsoft.
Yes.
Yes, I was really big into airsoft. It's how my original online presence grew. Basically, from there, I slowly started phasing out of it as I realized how the community could be with it, and I had gotten in contact with somebody on TikTok through one of the video series that we did, which was, get this. This was the wild stuff that was happening when people were so bored they couldn't get off their phones, right? We did a video series where it was airsofters slash tactical cosplayers versus Star Wars cosplayers versus Marvel and DC cosplayers. We actually created a whole origin story and a whole lore filled background. And when I had met that cosplayer. His name is the Googs, Commando Googs on Instagram. He showed me that he showed me that side of cosplay, the Marvel and DC, the part that I would have loved to get into, but I was originally very brutal honesty is just I was afraid the way that former veterans in the military would look at me if I was doing something like that. But then I got into cosplay for real, and I've met some of my most amazing friends who are veterans of the United States military as well. And through that, Googs and we were talking, and I was like, what? Like, I want to do these hospital visits. I want to go to, I remember seeing it as a kid on TV and just seeing like these superheroes go to children's hospitals and stuff like that. And this is around, like I said, the time that COVID-19. So it was very sparse and far along, but I was able to get in with a amazing charity organization called Kids Can Cosplay here in Southern California, and I got to work with Jay, the proprietor of the entire organization, and it's been the most that's the reason I got into the Marvel and DC cosplay, is because I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I need a character, I need a costume, right? And then I asked him like, what should I cosplay? And he's like, Star-Lord. Because it's just, you have that energy, you have that kind of like hype, and like you're very free form. And I was like, you know what? I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and I loved James Gunn even at that time, because Volume 2, all time favorite Marvel movie. I will die on that hill. It's genuinely just, it really is. And right then and there, I build my first Star-Lord cosplay. I go to my first children's event, slowly builds up from there, go to a children's hospital as Spider-Man. And then slowly it just kept growing into this love. And then this love started transforming into this really obsessive hobby. And it became to a point where I was like, I wanted to make it like I could rip the costume off the screen. I wanted that to be in my closet. You know what I mean? And I essentially, with Star-Lord, I think I got pretty close in the long run.
I think so, Jake. Wow.
This was a labor of love. This jacket is made by an incredible prop maker who no longer currently takes commissions, by the name of Big Effects Props. And he spent like nearly, I want to say close to 5 years perfecting this jacket off of multiple images and everything we were able to get from the film. We matched one of the costume designer's pieces to the reverse side of a rivet snap, and it was but it looked like a little spacey communicator pin, right?
It does.
And that's the costume designer Judiana Makovsky, who is the costume designer for Guardians 2 and
To detail, Jake. That's what we like.
Guardians 3.
The upgrade, as it were. Now, have you got a favorite jacket out of the two?
Oh, 100% Volume 2.
Yeah.
I love the space pirate vibe of Volume 2. It fits the vibe of that movie perfectly. I think that's why, like, tying it all back to your question. I'm sorry, I can talk for hours, I promise.
This is why you're here, Jake. This is what I wanted. This is great stuff. I love hearing passionate people talk, and that we've got that already. I wanted to know more about how you got into cosplay, and it came from a wonderful idea of wanting to give back, to give children a smile, provide entertainment and escapism, just like these characters do in the movies. You are able to do that in real life, and it's a beautiful thing. And I love how that has evolved now. And of course, I can see those glorious Superman suits in the background. How did you evolve again from Guardians into Superman? What happened there?
That's a fun one. Basically, it slowly, I never thought I could do it. I'm gonna be brutally honest. Like I was the side character. Bucky Barnes. I was the Jason Todd, which I love all of those characters, and because those they're definitely like a part of, like, I wouldn't cosplay them if I didn't love them, you know. And it just went from watching it just from believing you couldn't till you could, you know, having a really, you know, dark voice over your shoulder saying, no, you're too short, you can't be Superman. Like, come on, you don't have you don't have blue eyes, which is a fun one. I still wear contacts, I don't care.
But yeah, I mean, he's a big character to take on. You know,
Yes.
He's been around since day one. He is the reason why we have superheroes. So I understand that, yes, stepping into those boots, as it were, and putting on that cape, there's a responsibility to it. There's also certain expectations of what you should look like. But to me, it's more important about how you should be whilst wearing the cape. Anybody can put the cape or the Superman t-shirt on and feel like a superhero. but it's how you act and how you interact with the public. And what I've seen with your posts and how you portray yourself as Superman, you were destined to put on that suit, Jake. I can see that. I can feel it when I see you smile whilst posing and flying off into the distance. And I can't wait for more of that when this film gets closer to release and we start seeing you in even more fantastic suits.
I gotta say that's from all the love that it has gotten when I had like all those that so to speak the dark voices over my shoulder. I went into it believing that I could only do certain versions of the character, right? But an amazing Superman cosplayer who just told me this 2 weeks ago, and it's kind of resonated with me. Is like, it's not how we look or what we're wearing; it's how we portray the man of tomorrow, right? And this all Matt cosplay is an amazing human being, really, really, really nice guy, coming from a nice guy, or try to be a nice guy at least. Only on the weekends. I thought that I could only do my one version, which was the custom design that I had worked on, which was meant to be an overall culmination, but still with the basis of the My Adventures of Superman cartoon on Max. And I loved that version of Superman because for the first time, we were seeing a true to human. I mean, I'm not going to say for the first time. I mean, I would say in an animated form, in a more, I guess, not comic book form, a very real anxiety because yes, he's got these powers. He knows that something's going on. But he's in the dark even when he discovers his alien ship. Jor-El can't speak to him, and it is just so I just thought that was like, that is truly a Superman with, like, he's starting from nothing. He knows that he has to do something, but he doesn't even know who he is, right? And
Yes, fantastic series. Fantastic artwork, Jack Quaid. Fantastic addition, the
absolutely
Superman family. It still remains to be a fantastic, well-written and beautifully animated show as well. I love how that show looks. It's one that I can just get lost in for hours. So you created that suit sort of as an homage to that. When did you feel that when we started first seeing James Gunn's Superman, what were your thoughts about, right, how can I make this a reality?
For to the dismay of my wife and very close friends, the last more than a year that I have been talking about it, it's because I knew it would be beautiful. I mean, no matter that first picture, and that's where the bias comes from with knowing the costume designers' work and seeing uh, there's some. I don't. I'm trying to figure out the right terminology. Like their brushstrokes in the final art piece. You know what I mean? And when I saw that first picture where he's putting on the boot, I'm like, I love it. Every single thing about it, I love it. He doesn't need to show the world he's strong. His suit can have wrinkles. He has the trunk immediately, like he has the trunks. The boots looked fantastic, and I was like, I have to do it. I don't have a choice.
No, there's pretty much no choice in that, Jake. It was meant to be that you had to recreate this suit.
Exactly. In the grand scheme, no, it's because it was really ironic to me how this build up this huge, like, sort of crossover where I started this hobby with this director, this costume designer, through their films. I loved cosplaying these characters and wearing these costumes, right? And now it's going to be the same thing. And what's different with David is, like, he's 6'4", and that's when these voices finally started stopping. It was when I was like, no, that is in my opinion, it would be like a magnum opus for me as a cosplayer, because I saw it up close. Jonathan saw it up close. It's a beautiful monster, and I'm not ready. And I have 59 days to go.
Yes, it's past the midnight hour now for you, and that is it. I love the fact that you are putting out these monthly timers. We're going to be on a weekly countdown soon. The excitement is really building for this film, but I know that you at some point will be happy with all the adaptations and the upgrades that you are putting on your suit, because I've seen yours online. It moves fantastically. It looks great in the sunlight, which is what you want Superman's suit to do. When you were in your current version of the suit that you have, how did you feel for the first time after all those fittings and all those measurements and tailoring? How did you feel when you put it on for the first time and saw?
You're talking about the 2025 suit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the 2025 suit was originally made by Sim Cosplay, and they did an incredible job. I've literally talked about it with just about everybody. Like, this was a sign that you didn't have to be like absolutely insane detailed to get a really nice costume for an affordable price, right? And when Sim released their version, I was like, that's beautiful. I think that's like a good start. I knew it wasn't going to be the final version, and I got it, and I put it on the first time, and it was still all the custom measurements felt, and it looked fantastic. When I was out, because my wife and I immediately put it on. We had to go take pictures, and it felt, the cape is, there's something about that cape. You put that cape on a week ago at the Comic-Con, correct?
Yes, I did at the Portsmouth Comic-Con, and
Yes.
I put a few capes on in the past, and it's always a fun moment when it does drape over the shoulders, and you can feel not the burden of the cape, but the weight and the responsibility of it, and it felt majestic when I put it on, and seeing your cape and the way that it moves, and just that simple choice of putting that powerful S on the back in that bold yellow, just really, that's a home run for me. And to see that in the films and on cosplayers like yourself, it's a beautiful thing to see. Yes, it's great to see Superman walking towards you, but seeing Superman walk away with that amazing logo on the back as well, it's as equally powerful. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen your face when you first saw yourself put it on.
It was also definitely like, think the best way to describe anytime. It's whatever version of the character, even the version that I put on for Ren Fair, that was interpretation from the Justice League Unlimited.
I've never seen that cosplay before. Brilliant.
Thank
Such
you.
a good idea.
I told my wife, I'm like, honey, we're gonna cut up a Superman suit. She grabbed the scissors so fast, she was ready for it.
Oh, that was therapy for the wife.
Exactly. We made that in one night, and even wearing that, when I had put the red boots on, there is something to like wanting to wear the cape, right? And then when you finally put it on, you really, you want to go help people. You know, that I know that that's a very strange kind of mixture to it, but you really do. And that's when the LA fires broke out. I tell you what, I nearly drove my car with the bicycle, and I was about to drive right into one of the areas in Pasadena where I grew up and go help out. I knew I wasn't going to do it. First, my wife would have killed me. Love Brittany. I'm talking so much smack about my beautiful wife. She's incredible. I'm only saying this for her.
Read it back in, and that's fine. Bring it back in.
I'd shovel the dirt.
It would have been quite a dangerous position to put yourself in, Jake. So I'm glad you left it to the heroic professionals. That's for sure.
And when I posted it on my story, when it was all going on, I was like, I'm feeling really like imposter syndrome right now, and I call it unhealthy, but I was like, I wear this costume, and I wish I could fly over, like really wish I could fly over there and just take care of it, handle all of it. but I know that's not the reality. I was luckily able to help a little bit with YMCA and driving some supplies into the evacuation area and stuff.
Well,
But
it's not about what we can't do, it's about what we can do. We can all be a hero of sorts just by doing the most simplest of things, whether that be reaching out to a friend, having a chat, or sending off donations like you did, or giving what we can to charity. It's not about being the strongest hero on the planet, it's about doing the right thing, which is what you've been doing whilst wearing the cape, which is what I love. It's about representing the hero. And you and so many other fantastic cosplayers are doing that. I keep saying it's always a good time to be a Superman fan, but right now we are really living our best lives. This is
yes.
definitely not my first rodeo, as it were, when it comes to a Superman film or new franchise being released. But right now, the world is singing Superman's praises. Kids are looking up, and
Yes.
it's an interesting time. That's to say the least. But I'm so happy with what positivity is coming out of it, and the fact that children are excited for this new film and for the new merchandise and for crypto and everything that goes hand in hand with a big summer blockbuster. And we got that news yesterday about the new trailer, which is coming out now when this podcast goes live tomorrow, which is going to be a very exciting
I
time.
cannot wait. This is the first full trailer too, and
Yes.
like that's the crazy thing. We haven't even gotten the real. We got the sneak peek, which was incredible, and it's been nothing but tease after tease, and I love it. I'm here for it.
I mean, I feel like we've had enough, as it were. I don't want to be greedy with the content and
Oh,
the new
absolutely.
footage, but also I'm thinking, oh, I really want to hear Lois speak. I want to see some more of the Daily Planet. I want to find out why there's no Mark Kent in the trailers just yet, because I know that storyline is going to hit me.
Yeah.
But what are you hoping to see from this new trailer, Jake?
I think I want to see what one statement that came out when the first teaser trailer dropped was this trailer will make you feel hope, right? And when you sit through and watch that and all the epic imagery that James puts up in that one teaser trailer that was 2 minutes long. I mean it did because you see an explosion happening. You see there's a girl, but immediately she's safe, right? You see the world is on fire, but immediately there's hope, right? Like, and it's just the shot of him breaking out of the glass with just like the silhouette of Superman. It's something that I genuinely think that this version is going to be. It's going to be hope in a very epic form. And in this trailer, I want to see the dynamic between Lois and Clark. I want to see I just want to hear Clark speak because I'm curious about where the octaves and the tonals are going to be different, and like I want to see a little bit more of the Daily Planet, I want to definitely see what Lex and the engineer are up to. I want to hear Guy Gardner be a jerk for a little bit. I love Nathan Fillion so much. I'm so excited to see him in this role.
But yeah, I mean, it's all those things that we've seen glimpses of the planet. We've seen a little snippet of Lois and Clark, but as you said, we've not really heard Clark speak. There was that TikTok that happened where he was in a few memes and whatnot, but we haven't heard him speak as a journalist. Because
No.
when he is a journalist, in some representations of it, he's not shy. He can be bumbling, but he's always clear and
Yes.
fantastic enunciation. He's got a great voice, and I do want to find out how that differs from his Superman voice and his Clark voice, because I can see there with your fantastic glasses that you have on, some fantastic Clark glasses, Jake.
Remember, I told you this was one of the craziest things. I sent them to you.
They're out there.
They're out there. No, the glasses when I saw them immediately, I was like, I love them because they were weird. They are a little bit bold and like very modern but retro at the same time. And that's what I think that Superman is meant to be. I think that he's meant to be a hero of all ages. For 87 years, 87 years we've had a character that has only shown us to be, in his purest form. I mean, obviously, multiple different Earths and whatnot is like the symbol of brotherly love, the symbol of hope, the paragon of truth and justice. And I genuinely think that with James, we're gonna all of that. And I feel that you're right. This is the time where people are singing Superman's praises because we need some hope, I feel.
It certainly does feel that way, and I think with this film, I think with always a new release of a classic character, there's going to be some negativity towards it. There's going to be some people that don't want too much change, and there's people that are going to want all the changes. And it's sometimes very, very difficult to find a happy medium, to find a room where everybody can be positive about it. And again, as I said, I've been around the block a few times. I've seen all manner of comments over the years about our hero, about Superman. But with this film, I feel that the positivity is louder than the negativity. And I love that tide is turning, as it were, and that Superman is finding that hope and bringing that hope out of people, which is a beautiful thing. Not only am I ready for that, I'm ready for the merchandise. I'm ready for everything.
My wallet's not. My wallet is not ready for the merchandise.
I'm not. And what really, as an ironic point, came out yesterday was that Fossil released some fantastic new watches. That I'm a Fossil watch collector. They've also released a brand new wallet. I'm thinking, well, the wallet is gorgeous, but I'm going to have absolutely nothing to put in it because I'm going to be spending all my money on merchandise. Yes, Superman is my home team, as it were. So I will be supporting the franchise this year with all the new T-shirts and hats, books and comics and Funko Pops, because I can't get enough of Funko Pops right now.
I am so unbelievably jealous you have that already.
It's a gorgeous one. And again, you put the S on the back, I'm going to be a happy boy. But yes, Paul from Geek Garage was kind enough to send me this one. And I was thinking, do I keep it in the box? Do I take it out of the box?
No, you got to.
I was like, right, it's coming out. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have seen that majestic S on the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is, again,
amazing.
You might be using this for sort of reference points, but there is a fantastic shots of the suits there as well. So when you are doing your research, what are you looking for in a photograph? How do you look at that and think, well, this is what I need to do here, and this is how I need to change that? How does that work, Jake?
I really love this question. You try to rip it apart in your head. You know what I mean? When I say that, I mean like try and immediately identify material to what we have access to as civilians, as it were, we're not in the same, we don't have a massive studio with a massive budget. And like with this costume in particular, I have always had a firm belief with you're going to be wearing the costume all day, but you're going to be standing on your feet all day. So I always prefer to start with boots. I believe in getting a good base pair of boots going, then getting the rest of the costume in production. Because boots can sometimes be the most expensive part. With these boots in particular, and with tearing apart the image in your mind, I was wrong until I went to go see it in person.
Yes.
And my first thought, because the studio has access to the abilities to make, I thought they were fully casted in urethane rubber. Genuinely thought they were done just like that because they can. It is 100% possible. But upon further inspection, it is leather. It is leather made by an incredible bootmaker. Not the leather is made by the bootmaker, but the boot itself is made by a bootmaker by the name of Jitterbug Boy. He is done, basically think of every film from Wicked, from like Guardians, from recently Thunderbolts. He's done boots, custom boots for almost every single one of those films. And when I was looking at these blurry images online, right, because that's where the reference point started for this film. Zooming in on that picture that James posted, those shots of him walking on the street. It's unhealthy how many screenshots of different areas from that one photo I have on my phone. And we like starting, once we get the boots done, once I have a good base for the boots going, I like starting with what we know we can do first versus what we can't, right? And with this costume, we thought, okay, let's do the emblem. Boom. That'll be easy. When I say easy, I mean it's just like we know how to make an emblem. So we're in the process of like getting that done. When we figured that out, we're like, okay, we got to get the belt done. The belt still hasn't gotten done, mainly because we just halted on our progress of it due to the newer images that have released. And obviously, when I was able to see the suit in person, I had all my references there.
What was that like, seeing that up close?
I cried. I kid you not. No, I wasn't even trying to be dramatic about it. It was because, like I said, I have been staring at this thing. I say it so dispassionately. I have been staring at this thing for nearly more than a year, and I got to finally see this thing that I, from different angles, saw through a computer screen or a cell phone screen. And immediately, I guess, a huge weight off my shoulders of now I don't have to. I mean, like, it felt like a lot of hard work paying off. You know, it was really, it was also just beautiful. Kid you not. I think Judy Anna is an artist, and I think she is a incredible costume designer. It is a beautiful monster in the sense that every single piece of this suit is meant to be the way it is for a reason. And when I got to see it, immediately first kicked myself in the shin for all the things I got wrong, but then it was like, this is Superman. You see this coming from anywhere, whether it's a dark, shadowy hallway or the bright, Santa Monica beaches. That's Superman. It just immediately, when you think of the character, I understand where everyone's hesitations came with the suit. Kinda, but if you were to think about the character in any which way of always being recognizable as Superman, it's this costume. And the love of having the emblem inset into the chest to mimic the Reeves style emblem. Having the emblem fabric wrapped, which is still a rubber emblem underneath, but it is fabric wrapped with a lower density screen printing that essentially makes it look like it's all one piece. And when he moves, it all moves together as one piece. And then seeing God, I could talk about this particularly the suit for hours. However, I
could listen for hours because you're making me more excited for the film. You're making me already so excited for everything to do with it. I'm sure that one day I'm going to be in a position where I can stand in front of that suit as well.
Oh, 100%. Come to California. I'll host you myself.
Thank you very much. I went to San Diego Comic-Con last year.
So if you're going again this year, I will definitely be there.
Good man. But that's the thing. I did the Warner Brothers tour with Paula from DC World, and we got to see some Superman suits. But to be there right now, what we are calling the Summer of Superman, it would be just a whole new ball game, as it were. But I've been fortunate enough to see some of the Superman suits over the years, and much like you, I was physically trying to get as close as possible to see the stitching, to see every little minor detail that I could to get a closer look at the magic that is happening on screen. And we've only seen a little bit of that so far with these sneak peeks and the trailer that we are getting very soon. So I'm hoping that from this final trailer, we're not sure if it is the final trailer or not, but you get some more ideas of what you need to do to perfect your costume, to protect, it's what you have been doing for the last year. So I'm hoping you get more ideas of what you need to change for it. What's your favorite part of the James Gunn David Goran sweatsuit?
So when you see it, you immediately, my first thought is the cape is Sherpa. I thought it was a actual blanket material, and they were gonna go with this, that it's his baby blanket, right? And I love that because it's at the end of the day, that's what Laura intended. But it was when I walked up to the cape, because they know what we want. The Warner Brothers Studio Tours knows what we want, because they have the suit set up where it's standing forward. You can't see anything behind it. They were actually had the cape on display separately. When just like you've been saying this entire podcast, the cape, that yellow symbol against that red backdrop, it's just something about it that will always just resonate. That, like, it's biased because the Christopher Reeve Superman is so iconic with that imagery. It's biased because it's something about the way that even this part of the suit was done to mimic the Reeves style. And when I say mimic, I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. I'm just trying to say what the intention more than likely was with the way the suit was being designed. And the way they did it again, they took I wanted to add one more thing. The way they did it was also, imagine what these costume designers and how they did it in 1978. They did a stitched emblem on the back, and it was still the most iconic thing ever. But to replicate that, but bring it into this modern era of what we can do in terms of costuming, they took the fabric, which is the same material as the cape, and sandwiched it between the cape and the materials through a rubber emblem they pressed the design and they pressed the fabric into. And then the whole thing, just to add more again to that beautiful nostalgia, instead of a stitch line to create the depth of the S, it is a dark blue screen print line, which is so beautifully done that you would never in a million years guess that's what it was. It is.
This is why I wanted you to come on to talk about the finer details that, as as you can tell, I'm a Superman fan, but to know the finer details from somebody that their passion is costuming and cosplay and those finer details, I'm going to see this suit now and be a bigger fan of it because of how you are informing me and making me even more excited, which is quite the challenge to do because I'm at a 9.5 right now. I'm close to bubbling over every day. The excitement is building so much. It's, as I said, it's always a great time to be a Superman fan, but hearing your passion for the suit and for the future of Superman is inspirational. Why do you think, though, with this James Gunn film, why do you feel that it's important that it's a success for the future of Superman?
Well, to get the blunt reason out of the way is DC needs this win. I understand why. It really sucks that this is the position one of my favorite comic book, my favorite group of comic book characters is in. But the more, uplifting reason is because when I sat down and I watched Man of Steel for the first time, I was like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful, but this is not a Superman movie for me. And I'm gonna try. I know how dangerous this topic can be, and I know the comment section. I send all of them nothing but hope. I really wanted to be able to think about Superman again, where he was that Boy Scout. He was that mythical creature in the sense of, like, he's an alien from another planet. He has unspeakable capabilities, but he's not in a position. He doesn't put himself in a position as like, oh, I'm forced to use my powers to help everyone. No, I want to use my powers to help everyone. And even in a world that seems like it looks like in this film could be very against him, I know that he is going to prevail as that paragon of hope. I know that, like, this is going to be a time where on screen again we're going to see Superman not trying to be. I'm trying to choose my words so carefully because I know how
I
this
can see.
discussion
I can
could
see.
come up.
Said
And
no
it's,
hard-hitting questions, but it's how you answer them.
yes,
Great. Thank you. Appreciate
absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. It's more of wanting to, I think like I said, the blunt answer versus the not so blunt answer. It's also important, I think, as a community, we need to realize that this is the dawn of that new era that they were discussing in the BTS. Like, this is going to be our DC universe. Obviously, the Creature Commandos is the first real taste of the DC universe, but this is going to be the first live action taste of the DC universe that is all going to be connected, that is all going to have this huge connection between the comic books, the video games, from my understanding, the live action, the animated. We're going to have a huge, sprawling multiverse of incredible stories from characters that we have, I feel like, have just forgotten about, or genuinely, like, I understand everyone is excited. Everyone is excited for the Batman Brave and the Bold announcement, or the obviously how excited we are for Superman. Just think how I'm like unbelievably excited I am for Peacemaker season 2. How, like, I know that in Peacemaker we're going to get so many answers that we're probably not even going to get in Superman. And the Swamp Thing that is still set to happen, all this huge plethora of characters that we finally maybe get a chance to see them come to life in a not animated or like on a comic book page. It's going to be epic, and I'm very, very certain that, like, once this happens, there's no going that this is going to be the start of a decade, a minimum
Yes.
of a decade.
And that's it. There's so much potential for the future of entertainment and comics, and I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but the weight that is on James Gunn's shoulders right now is immense. But he's never been one to shy away from a big project, to really put the work in, as it were, and surprise those people that were sort of not necessarily negative, but were a bit dubious. So I'm looking forward to him proving quite a lot of people wrong.
Me too.
Or right, as it were.
I know the discussion we were having earlier with Guardians is like, this is a group of characters that respectfully, like, there wasn't a lot of love for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then James Gunn drops Guardians of the Galaxy in 2013, and here you are, you have kids like blasting around like Star-Lord, you have a whole new generation of Guardians fans that probably would have never happened if James didn't direct that movie and give us those versions of those characters.
And I mean, I'm as a Superman fan and ambassador, that's all I want for Superman, is for him to get his recognition, to get his pat on the back, as it were. It's not only doing the character justice, but also Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. He's saying, look, you made this character, you created this comic, you pretty much created this world of superheroes. Let's give you some acknowledgement, let's give you some respect. And I think with this film, we're going to get plenty of that. We're going to get some Superman doing Superman things. We've already seen that in the trailer. We've seen that in the glimpses of interviews and behind-the-scenes footage. But I'm excited to be a Superman fan every single day of the year. But right now, as I said, it's bubbling over. I'm on a slow simmer right now. But as the weeks get closer, I'm going to be just so happy and excited for this film, to talk with the world about Superman and talk with future Superman fans about why this character still means so much to so many. And for people like you, Jake, that are putting on the cape and are doing great things for the world of Superman, I will always be truly grateful. And another question that I will get to shortly for you, which is always one of my favourite ones to ask, but we will get to that. What are your plans for the upcoming months before this film comes out? I'm sure a lot of that time will be spent around this costume of yours.
Yes, well, mainly because I have a day job, and I am a mild-mannered administrative assistant. Most of it will probably be working still. Going up to July, I know that I'm going to be spending a lot of weekends in my buddy's workshop. I know that I'm going to be spending a lot of time trying to get photo shoots done in between, because trying to still, keep the love of the content alive and keeping the content going, because that's what, at the end of the day, it's what they want. It's the content.
Yes, always.
It's really been a huge journey all around for the last year, over a year. So I know that the next coming months there's going to be a couple of days where that I'm going to be overly anxious, and that's probably how I'm going to be spending most of it, is overly anxious.
Okay. Well, if you ever need a chat or a 5-minute break, you come on here and I will tell you why you're doing a good job and why you don't need to be anxious. Because simply your love for your passion is a beautiful thing to witness. So I know there are cosplayers out there that will be listening to this and watching this and feeling your passion for something that they want to get into as well. So would be your advice for somebody that wants to step into the world of cosplay?
I love this question. I genuinely, I know I've said that to so many of your questions tonight. I say just get down and dirty with it, you know? And when I say that, I mean in a clean way. Like, if you have a character that you love, if you have a character like, I want to do that, or if you have a character that you like, no matter what it is, whether it's a character, whether it's a character from a TV show, whether it's character from a comic book, it's just, if you're loving what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Apply the same concept. Like, I have met some of my closest friends through this hobby. I have met the love of my life through this hobby. I think that it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to get into. My advice when it comes to actually starting is that character that you have in mind, break it down point for point, take your time with it, see what you could do, think about your art projects from school, think about just looking at the way it looks and simplifying it. Because at the end of the day, I had a great idea for a cosplay game show. I would love to do a 30 minutes. Here's a bin of Goodwill stuff and paints and a bunch of like weathering equipment. Just make it happen. Do something. You know, like we'll set one, even maybe like a D&D archetype or something, like make a bard or like, you know, and that's all it takes. Take a day. Don't use your real clothes. Like, take a day, go thrifting, recycle it, find something. You could find the coolest things at thrift stores. And you can take all of that and ruin it because you know you didn't spend that much money on it. You know what I mean? But also you can have that as an amazing start, and then when you slowly get more of a love and passion for it, you can look into the multiple tutorials that I have never made. Unfortunately, when I'm making something, I've tried to record myself making stuff so many times, it always fails. Because the last time I tried to record myself making something, it was with the belt that came with this costume, the Sim Cosplay one, and I completely destroyed it because I poured acetone on it and didn't realize that it was vinyl. Well, I knew it was vinyl, I just didn't realize that vinyl and acetone had that. I didn't think it through. It was very, very poor decision making on my own.
But
it was recorded, and it'll never see the light of day.
Well, that's a shame. I was going to ask for the footage, but it's a learning curve. Absolutely. With everything, you are going to make mistakes before you get better. And you are at a point now where I feel that your cosplay is at this point where it is so professional, but the passion is still the thing that makes this and all your suits shine. It's that love for the character and representing the characters that you are wearing that I absolutely adore and can't wait to see more of in the future. And I'm hoping that when the film comes out, we will find some more time to speak. And hopefully, I know it may not be easy to sit down in the costume, but we could have a chat with you in the super suit when you are happy to show it off. That would be
absolutely
an absolute wonderful.
Once that suit is done, there's going to be a culmination of weights that fall off my shoulders.
Right.
So I'm definitely very excited to show it off, even if it's not a comfortable sit-in. I would love to have that conversation with you.
We'll have another chat, and what we'll do, you will sit down and you can, for me, because I'm absolutely fascinated with all these details. If you would like, literally from the ground up, from the boots to the top of those shoulders, if you could explain to me what your suit is made of, how it was made, how it was created, I would be honoured to sit down and listen to you talk about that.
I would love to do that.
That we shall pencil that in the books because I can't wait for that. And also because I know that you do a fantastic Clark, we can do a variant episode where you're dressed up as Clark as well.
Absolutely.
Now, my final question for you today, I've taken up so much of your time already. Thank you for that. That's it. Well, fantastic. We'll make this last one count then, because this is a question that I love asking people all around the world. And Jake, that question is, what does Superman mean to you?
You know, I've answered this question a lot, and I feel like my answer is slowly evolved more with just being so close to the character in the way that I'm close to the character, right? I think that hope oversimplifies what Superman is meant to be. Superman means to me is when you really want to give up, when you really believe that there is There is no reason to keep going. Everything is crumbling around you. And this could be physical, or this could be, not, well, I'm physical or not metaphysical, I guess. Emotional. Jesus. He's like, Superman's meant to be that one thought, that one spark, that one light in everything that you're going through, in that shadowy hallway that you're in, that one light that starts to glimmer, then finally overtake all of that darkness around you. That is Superman. That is the overall, the paragon of hope he's meant to be, that light in the darkness. And that's what I think he is. I think he is a light in a darkness, in a world facing adversity that maybe always will, but he will be that glimmer, that glimmer that turns into a spark, that turns into a symbol of hope.
Again, I always say there's not a wrong answer to that question, but each time I speak with somebody that is so passionate about the hero, this beautiful poetry arrives, and one day I hope to create a book or a video of all these fantastic quotes, because that one, Jake, just like so many others, was personal. Superman means something different to every single person. Underlying all of that, the hope is always there. The power, the passion, the want to do good, it always remains the same. And that was a fantastic answer, Jake. So thank you for that answer. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for everything that you are doing for the legacy and the tapestry of Superman and the world of cosplay, because you are doing a fantastic job of representing that passion, that hobby, that lifestyle to a wide audience. And it is a beautiful thing to see. And if we didn't have people like you, people that weren't too sure how to know more about this world, would have a safe place to go. So you're doing fantastic work.
You're gonna make me cry before we get off the podcast.
That wasn't my intention, but I'll take it. I'm not the best at receiving compliments, so I know when sometimes they can come across as a bit facetious and a bit not quite genuine, but I've seen your work now progress over the months, and I've seen the fact that the suits may change and evolve. Your passion and charm for your craft has always been there. And I can't wait to see how that continues to inspire others, but I want to see where you are in 5 and 10 years' time to see what more suits you can create. And with somebody like you that has a passion for this craft, I'm sure at some point in the future that this hobby, as you call it, could possibly turn into a career. Because
I hope that if I have the honor of going to the premiere, I can look at Judiana and be like, hey, it's me again.
Yes.
Maybe she'll offer me a job.
I mean, to have, I would feel that you are the perfect apprentice as it comes to that. You would be so keen to know every single detail. Why are you doing this? Why are you putting that there? Why is this that shape? You would want to know why, so that you could put that into your own work, but also put your own creativity into a suit. And that's why in years to come, I will be proud to look at a cinema screen and watch those credits by and see your name there as costume designer. That'd be a beautiful moment.
Gosh.
Jake, where can people find you online, sir?
I am on all social medias as Jake the Nice Guy. You can constantly see me collaborating with this amazing human being among some other amazing Superman creators. I'm very happy to say that hopefully one day we'll be on YouTube. The plan as of right now will be the same thing, though. I'll have the same username. And I also hope to make my way to the UK soon, eventually.
Yes.
And I know I have this tendency. You ask a question, I will bounce off of it in every other direction and then come back to the question. I'm so sorry.
Well, I can't relate to that at all, Jake. At all. That's all. But if you're coming to England, bring at least 2 cases, because I'm going to need to see you in as many suits as possible. There are so many red phone boxes in London that need you in that suit. So we will plan that more in the future. But the world needs more of your passion. And if you are coming to England, I will guarantee that I will find time to come and meet you, because that would be just fantastic. Jake, thank you for your time today. We will speak more, I hope, before the film comes out and after. Once this film comes out, I'm planning on posting so many episodes and reviews and spoilers and non-spoiler episodes.
Right.
I would be honoured to have you back to hear your thoughts.
I would be honoured to be back.
It's This is my favourite thing to do, to talk about Superman, but also to learn more about people's passions at the same time. So when I can blend those two things together, I'm a very, very happy geek. So thank you for your time. We'll be back soon, but I wish you all the best for the future, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Same to you.